Please welcome the founder and CEO of Common Sense Media, Jim Steyer.
Hey, thank you for bringing the beautiful weather to San Francisco. Actually, it's been beautiful for more than a week, but we're very glad that you're all here. It's really fun to see you here for the third annual Common Sense Summit on Kids and Families. And wow, it could not have come at a better time. But if you look around the room today, tomorrow, just take in who's here. You can take in the incredible views of the waterfront and the bridge and the incredible beauty of the city, but you can also take in the incredible people who are here for the next couple of days. Educators, advocates, amazing policymakers, world leaders, technologists, researchers, philanthropists, parents, young people, youth leaders, and quite frankly, some of the most consequential, influential voices in this country and around the world when it comes to the future of America's kids and families. And the fact that we're all here today on this beautiful day tells us everything we need to know about where the global conversation on kids and families is headed. As most of you who've been here before know, this is not a typical conference. There's no big research proposals or research papers. We don't really hand out plaques. Actually, we're going to hand out one plaque soon. But we're really gathered here as a group in a collective effort with an urgent shared conviction that the challenges facing America's kids, and quite frankly, America as a nation, have reached a critical threshold, and that the only way to meet the moment is to do it together. So cross-sector, cross-demographic, cross-party, unified around one single thing, a kids first agenda. We started this summit 3 years ago with a very simple but clear belief that the people shaping the future of childhood need to be in the same room, share times talking with each other, challenging each other, building together on a big scale to meet the challenges we're facing right now. We do this once a year, not just diagnosing problems, but committing to real actionable solutions. And that is what we want to do today and tomorrow. It's the community we care about building with you all, and I think we will come out of it stronger and better. When the first summit happened a couple of years ago in this very building, we launched a national call to action, and we put out a poll that showed how unified Americans are across the political spectrum when it comes to kids. Not divided, but deeply and stubbornly united despite what's going on in the rest of our country. In our second summit last year, we put a big agenda together about kids in the era of AI, a concrete cross-sector blueprint for change, and that agenda didn't come from the top down. It really came from the extraordinary people who are in this room today, were in this room last year, and from families and young people who are living these realities every day. And now we're back. And I don't know how to say this more frankly, other than to say, we are in deeply challenging and troubling times in the United States of America. Deeply challenging, deeply troubling. We have witnessed in the past few months alone, unique and unprecedented attacks on many of the basic norms, institutions, democratic institutions, free speech, and ultimately many of the values that we hold dear. And so the end game on that is that kids and families in this country are the people who live in that reality. And so we've experienced deep racism, overt racism, major economic challenges, ICE raids, babies and kids separated from their parents, many other assaults on values we hold dear. And we cannot ignore that and pretend that this is not happening in America. But together, we can and we will change this. So, to all the tech oligarchs, the cowardly and sycophantic politicians in our country who fail to step up over and over again when some of this has happened, we are stronger and better than you, and we are stronger and better because we have a unifying theme called Moving America's Kids Forward in a Good Way. And it's time for all of us to stand up and speak out and act fearlessly on behalf of the next generation, period. So, and that's what we're going to do. And you're not going to have to hear from me very often because we have way better speakers than me, including the person who's going to follow me in a couple of minutes. But I will be the person who reminds you to put your devices away a lot, because that's why we started with it. We really want to have a device-free day and a half so we can really focus and share and spend time together as friends and colleagues. So, just a couple of other things. You know, we live in this world of artificial intelligence, much of which is within about a square mile of here. Here in San Francisco. It's reshaping everything, moving faster than any of us fully anticipated. What's it shaping? How our kids learn, how we communicate, how they communicate and understand the world and their place in it. What's it reshaping? Everything. And we live in a world where, as our board member and friend Vivek Murthy said last time, that America's youth mental health crisis is not receding. It is deepening. It is expanding. There are still way too many kids here in the Bay Area and around the country who still lack access to the basic literacy skills, resources, and the fundamental opportunities that we all take for granted as part of childhood. And unfortunately, at the federal level, we can no longer assume that the folks in power in Washington are looking out for the best interests of the next generation. Often, and this is a very sad statement, but true, they are looking out for exactly the opposite. And that reality is sobering. We should not pretend otherwise, but it's also clarifying. It tells us exactly why we are all here today and tomorrow. In our new polling, which you're going to hear about in a second, you'll hear that 9 out of 10 parents in the United States believe that children's well-being should be our top national priority. 9 out of 10 across all political and party lines, across all regions, all demographics. That is a time that we're supposed to be now is a time we're supposed to be separated and divided as a nation, not when it comes to kids. And we're not divided on any of those lines when we talk about investing in the next generation. Some of our lousy leaders are, but we aren't as a people, and we are here today at this summit to provide leadership and vision for the future. I also want to say something too. There are tons of educators, young people, advocates, community leaders here today. We made a deliberate attempt in inviting people to this summit to have each of you attend, because we believe that the people who work most closely every day with our kids must always have a seat at the table. Not a symbolic seat, a real seat. Your experience, your proximity to students and to families, as well as your understanding of what's actually happening on the ground in homes and in classrooms, that's not background noise, it's essential intelligence. So thank you all so much for being here, and have a great time. As you're going to see in a few minutes, we have young leaders joining us today, including some students from Mountain View High School, who will talk to you about why this summit matters to them and how they feel about the state of the world. We have 2 extraordinary days ahead of us, and we want every one of you to leave here inspired and, most of all, equipped to be the change and do the change. Not just connected to each other, but committed to each other. We want each of you to be able to say that we didn't just bear witness to a critical and very challenging time in the lives of this country and in the lives of America's children, we actually did something about it. So, as we launch these 2 great days together, please remember the old Native American proverb. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We are borrowing it from our children. And also, please remember the great words of Bay Area's finest Olympian, Elisa Liu, who said, "Let's frickin' go." Thank you very much. Now, come on. Oakland's finest. And speaking of finest, let me bring up as our opening speaker my good friend, the head of the Children's Defense Fund, Starsky Wilson. Come on up, Starsky.